Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Amasvat Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Dhrtarăstra Smadhati Dhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Khanda Radha Khanda Giridhar ki Jai Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Navadvip Dham ki Jai Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, Guru Dwarka Dham ki Jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, all glories to their Srimad. All glories to their Srimad. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Glories to you, Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 9th chapter, text number 48, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on June 14th, 1973, in Mayapur, India.
Full hall would have been compact. This is the difference between India and foreign countries. They are receiving this message of Krishna consciousness very seriously. Here they are rejecting. The Indians, they are rejecting. There is a proverb, আপন ধন বিলায় দিয়ে ভিক্ষা মারের কাছে. they have lost their own culture and they are now beggars. They are going to beg from door to door in the foreign countries. When I was speaking in Berkeley University, sometimes in the year 1966, one Indian student stood up and he said, Swamiji, what this Krishna consciousness movement will do? We require now technology. So I replied, yes, you are after technology, so you are a beggar. I am not a beggar. I have come here to give something. That is the difference. I have come here to give some culture, and you have come to imitate the Western civilization by technology. That is the difference. You will remain a beggar, I shall remain a giver. That is the difference. So still I am maintaining that position of giving, not taking. Before me, so many Swamiji went there. They did not give, but they took something and came here and advertised themselves as foreign returned sannyasi and exploited the people. They lost even their original dress. Everyone knows I have never changed my dress. Rather, I have given the dress to the foreigners and they have taken it. The Ramakrishna Mission people came to request me that I dress myself in coat, pant, hat. Because they are doing, they are so-called Swamis, they are dressed in coat, pant, hat. So, this is a culture. This culture is meant for the human society. Fortunately, this culture developed on this land of Bharatvarsha. Unfortunately, people are so much bewildered that they are giving up this culture. That is the most regrettable portion of our movement. Anyway, my mission was that I shall go to America, and if some of the American boys and girls, younger section, would accept it, then I'll bring them here to show these rascals that how great this culture is. So, portion of the population they are realizing now. Now here is a word, Gandhari cha tapasvini. Gandhari, the wife of Dhrtaràstra, he is qualified here with as tapasvini. Tapasvini. She was a householder, wife, having children, not only one children, she had 100 sons. But still she is addressed here as tapasvini. Tapasvini means one who undergoes austerity. Because this human life is meant for practicing austerity. Human life is not meant for extravagance. Tapasya, tapovidyam, jena, Suddhyet satya. This is the principle of human civilization. Suddhyet satya, existence. Our existence, we are eternal. Every living entity is eternal. But we are subjected to birth and death. Why? Because we are not pure. Just like when you are impure, some disease infects. If you are pure, follow the hygienic principle, you will not be infected. Similarly, this existence, material existence, we, every one of us, part and parcel of Krishna originally, the same purity, qualitatively. The Krishna is the supreme pure, we are also pure, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Just like a small particle of gold is also gold. The value is gold. It is not iron or something low-grade metal. The same. Similarly, as Krishna, ajopi san abhyatma, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Krishna is aja. He never takes birth. Bhutanam Isharopi san, although he is the Lord of all living entities, still by his desire he appears. Our appearance in this material world is also the same desire, but that is not independent. Our desire, who is talking there, he must stop. That portion is simply talking camp. Just like this, frogs or toads are talking all day and night, Actually, we have got tongues, and these frogs, they have got also tongue. So, they are using their tongue, inviting snakes. Please come here and eat me. That is their business. Nature's way. See, if we simply talk like the frogs without any Krishna katha, then we are inviting death very soon. So don't waste your time. That is my request. It is our habit, because we are no better than frogs also. We are also living entity. But we have got the chance to stop this kakarka and chant Hare Krishna. This chance we have. The frogs, they haven't got that chance. They cannot chant Hare Krishna. That is the difference between the frog and us. Similarly, if we waste our time in that kakarka, then we are no better than the frogs. We are no better than the frogs. So don't make kakarka when we assemble together. That is my request. If you have got time, spare time, Simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. That should be your business. This is tapasya. Tendency is to crow, to make vibration like this, frogs. That is our tendency. Because we are also conditioned soul. And the frogs or any animal, they are also conditioned soul, conditioned by the material nature. Therefore, tapasya, austerity, is required to nullify, to counteract this conditional state of living. Now we are conditioned. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. We are conditioned by these four principles: birth, death, old age and disease. This is our condition. The scientists, rascals, they are trying to improve the condition of living. But what is the improvement? There is death, there is birth, there is old age, and there is disease. No improvement. If you want to improve your condition, if you want to come back to original constitutional position, then tapasya, then you require to undergo austerity. Tapo dibbam jina suddhyet satya jato brahma saukham anantam. If you undergo tapasya, therefore we prescribe this tapasya, no illicit sex. Our tendency is to have illicit sex. That is the condition of this material nature. But we have to deny it. That is tapasya. Tendency is there. Tapasya means I have got some tendency, but voluntarily I have to check it. That is called control, tapasya. My tongue is dictating. Let us go to some place and eat such and such thing. But if you can control the tongue, no, that is tapasya. No, you cannot eat this. You cannot be allowed to eat anything except Krishna prasada. That is tapasya. Not that my tongue has dried up, I must drink a cup of tea and I take it. No, it is intoxication, prohibited. So I shall not take it. That is tapasya. And that tapasya, what for? Tapasya dibbam, tapo dibbam. Otherwise, there are many men, they are also undergoing austerities for some material purpose. There are many men who wants to accumulate some money, begins business from low standard, works very hard day and night. In your country there are many examples, just like Mr. Henry Ford. So, that is also tapasya. They underwent severe conditions of life to accumulate some money. After death or at the end of life, they will be called, oh, here is a millionaire. He started his business with a farthing. Now he wants that credit. No, not that kind of tapasya. Because that accumulation of wealth, millions of dollars, will be finished after this body is finished. After death, he cannot take away the millions of dollars with him next life.
but they do not know that there is next life. Next life you may become a dog. Then what these millions of dollars will help you? That he doesn't. Therefore, tapodibam, take austerity penances for reviving your original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. For that purpose you undergo austerity. Otherwise, if you simply undergo austerities, penances, hardship for some material gain, then it is waste of time. Defeat, parabhava. Parabhavastavat abodhajat. Because he is a full rascal. He does not know what for hardship should be taken. Just like Hiranyakashipu. He also underwent tapasya. The whole universe became tremble. Brahma came, why you are undergoing such severe tapasya? On one finger he stood up and undergoing tapasya. And Brahma came. So what is your purpose of this tapasya? Sir, I want to be immortal. So that is not possible. He cannot become immortal. Then, in so many ways, he wanted to become immortal. So what is the purpose of becoming immortal? There are many trees standing for 10,000 of years. That is very successful life, to stand in a place for 10,000 of years without any movement, or prolonging life for many thousands of years. Brahma lives also for many millions of years. So people are misled in this way. They undergo hardship for some temporary gain, which is condemned. Shastra says that if you take hardship, if you undergo tapasya, it must be for realization of God. Tapodibam. That will give you permanent happiness. And if you accept hardship for anything material, it may give you temporary, so-called happiness, but with the end of your body, everything will be finished. Therefore, this tapasvini is Gandhari, tapasvini. She has been described as tapasvini. She wanted to be a faithful, chaste wife. What is the result? If a woman becomes faithful, chaste wife, then the next life there is chance of her becoming a male. Because according to Vedic literature, to take birth as woman is low grade. Striya Sudra Tatha Vaishya Jepishu Papajona in the Bhagavad Gita. As there are higher grade and lower grade births, so according to Vedic understanding, the woman, the body of woman is lower grade birth. Therefore, if she is fortunate to have a good husband, devotee, and if she becomes faithful to that husband, then her life is successful. That is called tapasya. So Gandhari did it. Gandhari in India still, marriage does not take by canvassing all of a sudden. The father and mother, especially in aristocratic family, royal family, even in Western countries, the father and mother selects the husband or wife. Even in England, the King Edward VIII, he was intimately in friendship with a common girl, so the state would not allow him that you can marry a common girl. So at that time the Prime Minister was Mr. Baldwin. He said to him that either you have to give up the company of that common girl, or you have to give up this empire. So out of sentiment, he gave up the empire. Later on he was very sorry. And his second brother, George VI, George VI means the father of the present Queen Elizabeth. So, still this is current in aristocratic family, that the husband and wife should be selected by the parents. So Gandhari, she was the daughter of Afghanistan, Kandahar, still the name is there, Kandahar, Gandhar. Formerly the name was Gandhar. So Gandhari means the daughter of Gandhar country. So, when she was informed that her would-be husband is a blind man, Dhrtarăstra was blind from birth. So, immediately she practiced austerity. Voluntarily she closed her eyes with cloth, that she would also live as blind. My husband would be blind, so although I am not blind, I must live also as blind. This is the beginning of austerity, Gandhari. So Gandhari was so faithful, one of the most exalted chaste wife mentioned in the sastras, Gandhari, that in all conditions she followed the husband. At last, when everything was finished in the battle of Kurukshetra, no Kaurava, none of the sons or grandsons of Dhrtarāstra was living, neither of the Pandavas. Still, Gandhari was faithfully serving her husband, and Dhrtarāstra was living with the nephews, Yudhisthira and his brothers. They were keeping the uncle very comfortably as elder uncle, all respect. But Vidur came there and he criticized him that you have no shame. You all along remained enemy to your nephews. Now your nephews have killed all your descendants, and you are living here just like a dog. They are giving you some morsel of bread, and you are eating and living here. You have no shame. You have become old. So he became very sorry. My dear brother, what shall I do? Please come immediately along with me and come to the forest. So Dhrtarāstra went according to the instruction of Vidur. Gandhari followed. Gandhari never said that I am now old, I have lost my children, these nephews, they are taking care of me, where shall I go with my husband? No, she also went. So there are many good qualities in Mahabharata about Gandhari. Therefore she is described here as tapasvini. Tapasya. Very chaste, faithful wife, ideal wife. Gandhari, tapasvini. What is the part really?
Dhrtarăstra and Gandhari, the father and mother of Duryodhana and his brothers, were the elder uncle and aunt of Maharaja Yudhisthira. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the celebrated couple, having lost all their sons and grandsons, were under the care of Maharaja Yudhisthira. They were passing their days in great agony over such heavy loss of life, and were practically living the life of ascetics.
Yes. Because he was elder uncle, Yudhisthira Maharaj was coming in the morning to offer obeisances. And one morning when he came, he saw there is no Dhrtarăstra and her aunt. He became very much disappointed because he was conscious that they were living in very aggrieved condition. So might be I have offended them, so therefore they have left my home. That is also you'll find. Then Narada came, they don't bother. They have gone to the forest to live as ascetic. Don't try to bring them back. Go on.
The death news of Bhismadeva, uncle of Dhrtarăstra, was another great shock for the king and the queen, and therefore they required solace from Maharaja Yudhisthira. Maharaja Yudhisthira was conscious of his duty, and he at once hurried to the spot with Lord Krishna and satisfied the begrieved Dhrtarăstra with kind words, both from himself and the Lord also. Gandhari was a powerful ascetic, although she was living the life of a faithful wife and kind mother. It is said that Gandhari also voluntarily closed her eyes because of the blindness of her husband. A wife's duty is to follow the husband cent per cent, and Gandhari was so true to her husband that she followed him even in his perpetual blindness. Therefore, in her actions, she was a great ascetic. Besides that, the shock which she suffered because of the wholesale killing of her 100 sons and her grandsons also was certainly too much for a woman. But she suffered all this just like an ascetic. Gandhari, although a woman, is no less
ascetic means who voluntarily suffers all kinds of suffering. Titikshava, the exact word. Titikshava karunika, sridam sarvabhutana, ajata sattva shanta sadhava sadhu bhujana. Sadhu means that he must be tolerant. That's like Haridas Thakur. You know how much tolerant he was. So titiksa. So titiksa. Titiksa is the qualification of a Brahman. Samadhama titiksha. Tolerant. You cannot expect any peaceful life in this material world. That is not possible. Therefore, in all conditions, in order to execute Krishna consciousness, he must be tolerant. Tang titikkha bharat. Krishna advised to Arjuna that there will be some material pleasures and not pleasure, displeasures. So pleasure is also here, displeasure. They do not know. So Krishna advised, Tang titikkha bharat. Agamapaina anitya, tang titikha bharat. These such things come and go. Don't bother much. Try to become tolerant and execute your own business. Similarly, we live together. There may be some inconvenience. You are brought up in a different standard in Europe and America, and in India. It may be difficult because we haven't got all the facilities, but you learn tolerance. Execute Krishna consciousness. That should be our business. Tang titikkhassava. Matra sparshasta kontiya. Shitasna sukhadukkada. Agama apayna anitya. Tang titikkhassava. So, for life of austerity, Krishna consciousness life means the life of austerity, tapasya. It is not extravagance. So we have to learn titikha. That is one of the qualifications of the Brahman. This is very important verse. The king's duty and how a king is recognized. The first recognition was made by Dhrtaràstra, his uncle. Why? Because there was fight between two sections of cousin brothers, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So, the Kauravas were all killed. The Pandavas also, except the 5 brothers, their sons were all killed. So, it is not that by force. There was force, but it was dharmayuddha. Ksatriyas, they would claim by strength, by fight, not by high court judgment. By strength, by bodily strength. So the Pandavas proved their bodily strength, and Dhrtaràstra was under the impression that because actually the kingdom belonged to him, but on account of his becoming blind, he could not inherit on the throne. Defective in the body, a king should be all complete. So, not a blind man can be king. That is not possible. So after the death of his younger brother, Pandu, he thought actually the kingdom belonged to him. Now, after the death of his brother, his sons should inherit. That was the political conspiracy of the battle of Kurukshetra. Now everything finished, decided by the battle. Dhrtarāstra accepted, yes, my dear nephews, you can become king now. We have tried our strength and you have come out victorious. Therefore, I also confirm that you become king. It is said, Pitra Chanumato. Not that against the will of Dhrtarāstra, Maharaja Yudhisthira accepted the throne. No. He took permission. My dear uncle, now we decide whether we shall become king or you shall remain king. So he said, no, you become king. Now your right is confirmed. Then again, it was confirmed by Krsna, Vasudeva. Because a king is representative of God. King is not ordinary person. Just like spiritual master is representative of God, similarly, king is also representative of God. The father is also representative of God. These are the statements of the sastras. Because they will guide. The king will guide. The spiritual master will guide. The father will guide. What is that guidance? The guidance is how one can become Krishna conscious by education, by culture. This is guidance. Not that to guide them how to become hippies. This is not guidance. This is misguidance. Guidance means the whole system of human civilization is guide the people to become God conscious. This is the Vedic civilization. Not to make them dog conscious, cat conscious, animal conscious. No. So, people, animals, they do not know that the goal of life is to understand God, Vishnu. Animals cannot know, even they are instructed, they cannot know it. That is not possible. But the human being, however fallen he may be, if he is properly guided, if he is properly instructed, he can become God conscious. This is the special privilege of the human life. Animal cannot. You can train one animal how to dance. That also you can do. So many things, just like in circus. The animals are trained up to do so many things. But an animal cannot be trained to become God conscious. Sometimes also, by proper guidance, the animal also becomes. But that is very rare case. So, it is the king's duty to see that his citizens are becoming God conscious. That is king's duty. First of all, father's duty, spiritual master's duty, ultimately king's duty. King's duty, therefore it is said, dharmeņa, chakara rajyam dharmeņa. Dharmeņa means by religious principles. What is the religious principle? Religious principle means to guide everyone to become God conscious. This is religious principle. Dharmeņa. Therefore, varnashram dharma in the Vedic culture, the varnas and ashrama, they are accepted as dharma. Dharma means duty which you must execute. That is called dharma. Compulsion. If you don't do it, then you will suffer. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranita. And where from this dharma comes? It comes from Bhagavan, God. He gives this dharma. And the king, the spiritual master, being representative of God, it is their duty how to guide people to develop that God consciousness. This is called human civilization. Dharmeņa. So it is the king's duty to observe his dharma, Ksatriya. Ksatriya's duty is to give protection to the citizens, security of life and property, and guide them gradually to develop Krishna consciousness. This is Ksatriya's duty. Brahmana's duty is to guide the Kshatriyas whether he is actually executing his duty according to Shastra. That is Brahmana's duty. Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra. Similarly, Vaishya's duty is to see economic development of the state. And the Sudra's duty, because Sudra means fourth class men, they have no intelligence, therefore their duty is to serve the three higher classes, Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya. This is the system. Chaturvarnam Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhaga. According to quality and work. Brahmana's quality and Brahmana's work. Kshatriya's quality and Kshatriya's work. Vaishya's quality and Vaishya's work. Quality means education, culture. Just like a medical practitioner, when he passes his examination in the medical college, that is his quality. Similarly, it is the duty of the state or of the monarch to see that one who is claiming as a Brahmana, whether he is qualified, whether he is acting as a Brahman. Similarly, a man claiming Kshatriya, whether he is qualified as a Kshatriya and he is acting as a Kshatriya. Similarly, the Vaishya. And Shudra is general. Shudra means one who has no education, no culture. That is called Shudra. So that is the remnants. First of all, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and others, those who have no sufficient brain, they are counted as Shudra. Still, Shudras have also prescribed duties. If there are others, those who are less than Shudras, or even the Shudra qualities are wanting, they are doing anything and everything without any control, they are called Mleccha Javan. Mleccha Javan. This is the Panchama, fifth grade. First grade Brahmana, second grade Kshatriya, third grade Vaishyas, fourth grade Shudras, and all others rejected, fifth grade, they are called Chandalas. Chandala. But this Krishna consciousness movement is so nice that even Chandalas can be also raised to the platform of Brahman. Chandalapi Dijashrestha Hari Bhakti Parayana. Even if a Chandala is trained up as a devotee, he can be better than a qualified